What is all this? Ha ha, very funny. I see that as breakfast, but why did you make this much? You can't possibly eat all this food on your own. And I already told you, I don't need any handouts or pity. If I can blend into the waitstaff for the Castello and Averunca, then I can certainly fetch and cook my own eggs for breakfast. So, you really shouldn't have bothered going through the extra effort for me. Though, it would be a shame if this food wasn't eaten. I suppose for today, I'll eat what you made, if only to make sure none of it goes to waste. This is delicious. Though, I suppose it makes sense. You own a farm, so it's as fresh as it can get. No offense, but I kinda just expected a piece of bread this morning. If it makes you feel any better, that's the extent of my skills in the kitchen. I can make a really sad-looking piece of bread, but it'll be edible. There is a reason my cover in Orion was a maid and not a cook. If I was a cook, my cover would have been blown the minute my employers put my food in their mouth. I can fake a lot of things, but an ability to cook just isn't one of them. And I'm not really interested in being taught. I would prefer not giving anyone ammo to tease me with. I bet you could fool people with your food, though. Not that I'm telling you to leave your stable life of a farmer to become a spy. That's not what I meant. I suppose it really isn't a completely stable livelihood. There's always the possibility of a drought or sickness among the animals. But honestly, I would take those circumstances above being potentially killed for subterfuge. Yeah, I'm fairly certain if I'm captured by the guard, they'll either kill me immediately or draw out to give them time to interrogate me, to get me to spill who I work for and all of that serious stuff. They won't get anything out of me, though. I would choose death above betrayal. That look on your face, does something like that disturb you? Sorry, not used to making conversation when I'm not playing a character. Personally, though, I don't think the concept of death is that terrifying. Of course, I'm not ready to leap into the goddess of death's arms prematurely, but when my time comes, I'll be ready. Yikes. I made this conversation so dull. Usually I'm not like this. I'll probably perk up soon. If there's nothing worse than having a nationwide criminal in your house, it's definitely having a mopey nationwide criminal in your house. You should take control of the conversation now. If this keeps up, I might end up telling you all of my sob stories, and that would definitely be a bore. I can assure you that. What? Oh. Why am I running from the Orion Guard? I told you the basics of it yesterday, but I'm sure you have more questions. I'll answer what I can, but I don't want to drag you too far into this. As I said before, I was working as a cute little maid in the capital. My job was just to stay invisible, get information on the ongoing war, see if they were intending to shift their attentions to any other nations besides the Empire. We didn't know what King Jahan's intentions were currently in regards to neutral parties for not taking a decisive stand. Multiple nations are concerned that Orion might start using their proven power to invade into their multiple neighbors. Obviously, there was no way for me to gain access to the castle itself, but by gaining a maid position in one of the noble households, I was able to hear the rumors swelling amongst the noble classes. At night, I would sneak to areas where I definitely was not permitted and collected further information. I was doing fine for a couple of months until one of my employer's associates got curious and tailed me at night. Of course, he discovered what I was up to, and I was definitely not up to doing certain tasks with him to keep my secret. I knew I fucked up. So that night I fled, took the little bit of supplies I had at the time and ran. The next morning, the guy blabbed, and the news of a runaway spy traveled from town to town. Guards have been after me since. Huh? About myself? I can't really say anything in regards to that, other than the fact that you can call me Rabe. You're right. Rabe certainly isn't my name, but it's the one I've adopted for my line of work. It's the closest thing I can give you to a name, so I suppose the rest of me will have to be a mystery as far as you're concerned. Look, I'm only trying to protect you. If you end up learning too much about me, and the guard catches wind that you know, they will have no hesitations to capture and interrogate you themselves. They'll label you a traitor to the nation regardless if you tell the truth or not. In their eyes, you're a traitor if you keep your silence, yet still a traitor if you tell them that I sought refuge here. There's no winning for you. So please, no more questions. Thank you. Thanks for the food. Best thing I've eaten in the past couple of weeks. Yeah, I've been on the run for a while. Unfortunately, Orion is huge. Though, you should know that better than me. You live here. Probably took longer, though, because most of the time I was in the middle of forests instead of passing through towns. So, most of my food was just stuff I could hunt or forage. Nothing really filling. Hey, sit back down. I'm cleaning off the table and rinsing the dishes once I'm finished. I told you already, no handouts or pity. If I'm going to stay here, then obviously I need to contribute something. Even when I was an undercover maid, I actually did my job. You're hiding me in your home. Morally, I'm obligated to contribute to your homestead somehow. I mean, yeah, my morals are a bit shaky considering my profession, but my morals are also fairly confident that I need to return the favor. Even though there's probably nothing I can do that's as significant as you've done for me. I mean, yeah. I was decent as housekeeping as a maid. What are you... Oh... You want me to do housekeeping, don't you? Smart, smart. I contribute, and I also get to stay inside away from prying eyes. It would be really bad if someone caught me working outside. Surely with a place this small, they would notice immediately that I'm new. I'll do it. I'll be the equivalent of a maid. Though you probably still want to do all of the cooking. Unless you enjoy food without any flavor. That's what I thought. But I can wash clothes, keep the floors clean, wash dishes, and sew up ripped clothing. All of that type of stuff. People think it's easy, but there's a reason why being a maid is a profession, right? Not just anyone can do it. So, feel free to use my services while I'm in your care. I just realized I never really properly thanked you. You've really risked your neck for me, and I haven't even done the bare minimum and thanked you. Whoops. Oh, don't say that. You deserve it. And more. At this point, I can't really imagine you would have an ulterior motive. You just seem like a kind person. Like I said yesterday, too kind for your own good. Though if you are playing the longest con ever, I am completely impressed. You have the kind-hearted farmer role down. It's only a joke. Who's that? Can you peek through the window curtain and see? guard? Damn it. Don't tell me someone saw you taking me in here late last night. Can't anyone keep their mouths shut in this nation? They're always going straight to the guard every time. Kiss asses, the lot of them. This would never happen back home. Swear to God, this fucking nation is built on the back of fucking snitches. Hey, what do you want me to do? I can run if you want. You can lie and say that I must have snuck in and you had no idea I was in here. Yeah, it's a little dangerous for me, but you're an innocent person. I'll get out of your way if it helps keep you safe. What? You want me to just hide in the attic? But aren't the guards going to... Okay. Hey, before I take off, good luck with the guards. And thanks.
Good morning. A little late to the door. Were you still resting? Apologies for the disturbance, but we have a few simple questions we wanted to ask you. Oh, my apologies. Where are my manners? I am Simon Auclair from Château de Mabelu. My associates and I work directly for Our Majesty King Jehan and the court. I am sure with that knowledge alone you recognize our importance and authority. Now, all of these questions are fairly standard. We've already been through most of the village asking them with little to no problems. Firstly, what is your name? All right. Looking at your land, it's fairly obvious that you work as a farmer. Do you live alone? Hey, it is a simple question. Do you live alone or not? Merde! You maintain this land alone. Truly admirable. I do not envy your workload. Have you seen the notices around the village? Of that spy, or Mistovari, or whatever people wish to call them nowadays? A lot of people close to the heart of F4A are worried about that woman popping up somewhere. And Mistovari on the run could be highly dangerous. As everyone knows, an animal cornered will lash out at the slightest movement. Are you not the slightest bit nervous that she'll show up here? You live in much more isolation than those terrified back in the village square. Well, that's a bit naive, don't you think? You have food, shelter, privacy. This would be the perfect place for someone to hide out. Speaking of which, would you mind letting us in? I know it must be an inconvenience, but it shouldn't take longer than a minute. You don't mind, do you? Can we come in? Thank you. Ah, what a lovely home you have. Fairly rustic, but charming. Ah, the fireplace is already lit. I'm sure once night falls, it is a necessity. Even now in the morning, it's a relief from the cold. Seeing as it's the morning, I assume you already had breakfast. I mean, one can hardly work a farm if they don't eat properly. Oh. Well. It looks like you had company. I mean, a farmer living alone would hardly have any other reason to have 2 plates left out on the table. You know, I don't recall anyone leaving your home this morning. They must still be here, shouldn't they? Unless they left through the back door. But why would anyone have to sneak around like a criminal? Unless, of course, they were one. Tell me, farmer, where is she?